Welcome to today's collective reading. I'll begin with clearing with the kyanite and selenite, aligning and elevating. Okay. As you can see, the background's it's new. It's got like heart chakra, throat, bit of third eye as well in there, and crown. Plaid has a symbolism of protection to it. So this energy is to be associated with the upper chakras and containing, providing a space for that. So we'll begin with some Moonology cards here. All right. So what does my collective need to know today? Definitely getting the vibe that this is going to be a masculine insight into their own journey, as well as into possibly a bit of what's going on with the feminine aspect. Now, by saying masculine, you could be a female who is definitely very muchly assertive in the role that you play in your life and in the relationship. It could be that that's more the predominant role that you have. So do feel free to invert the gender language as, you know, it pertains to your unique situation for insight into the predominant receptive energy or feminine. As there's really no gender in the tarot, this is more, it's really all about energy dynamics, and you know yourself better than anyone. Ooh, that's a lot there. It's too much. Okay. But that's a sign that it's time. Okay, so for the first placement, this is going to be around, you know, where your thoughts are, where your mind is at, possibly some insights into where their mind is at as well. Okay. Full moon in Sagittarius, see the bigger picture. What are you aiming for, and what is between you and what you're aiming for along the way? And how do you overcome those obstacles, move around them, achieve those goals to arrive at your end goal? The bigger picture is seeing the forest for the trees. Now I'm going to be using a deck I'm not as familiar with. And I do read it in the inverted as well. So I may do some referring to the guide during the reading. But this particular deck, it brings out more the contrast. And that's why the tarot, you know, reference, the guidebook, is something that provides me insight, because there's things in it that are a little different than what you would expect in the traditional interpretation. So I'm still learning this one because it's a bit more challenging. It brings in more of the dark energy, more of the opposing. Thus, the concept of intuitively, they're like, "You're going to do the plaid today." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." The containing space for the intuition, the speaking, the sharing, the concepts, the how to do that. All right. Okay, so clarifying this, we have the Six of Swords in the inverted. Somewhat of a mirroring and a disconnect. Going one direction and then the other going the opposite. And in the middle, there's this conflict. Okay, but that's in the inverted. So how do you work together? How do you move towards that calmer space? It's possible that you're actually not It's like, I have the image of a helicopter. You need the blades to go in a consistent direction. And this is, in the inverted, it's implying that either you're beginning, this is where your mind is at, you're beginning to be aware of how this is occurring, or you're aware that it's not, you're not working in the same direction, that your big picture is not matching their big picture. And this is causing some anxiety in your thoughts, which is understandable. And then we have the King of Spheres inverted. And I'll flip this up right so you guys can kind of take a good look at that. See what I mean? Like it's definitely the play of the transition from white to black, and all the different ways in which the intensities of either is present can really change the mood of the image. And I'll do this Six of Swords for you guys as well. So yeah, definitely in the thoughts you intuitively are like, what's going on here? We are not on the same page. What the hell? So for this, I'm gonna pull out this to see if there's any further insights for you guys into this, because the King of Spheres inverted is, you're either feeling like, because you're not working in the same direction, that this King of Spheres, this abundance that is assertively to be acted towards, is not going to be able to be present because this is not occurring, or you feel that it is not occurring. All right, so we're going to start with the Six of Swords here. I'm going to find that. Okay. Okay. Fear of the unknown and forced change in thinking. Oof. You need to move from one shore of thinking to another. You are currently in between and need to complete the journey. And there's the fear of this unknown, and you're being forced to create this change. So if this could be you, or it could be them, and only you will know the answer to this, and it could apply to both of you. And that there's a forced change in how you're thinking to be able to be open to moving to this new shore, this new way of interacting with yourself, intellectualizing how you interact with yourself in your world. Okay. And then the King of Spheres. Meaning is, use your wealth, status, and influence wisely. Others look to you for leadership. But the pressure to lead, oh my goodness, you probably feel like you have the world weighing on you, or your feminine does, your receptive does. Ooh. In the reverse, it implies there's corruption, or there's excessive consumption. Like you're not spending wisely, not using resources in a balanced fashion. So more present in the immediate versus the long term when it comes to physical abundance. Corruption. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, the corruption side to it. I want to know a little about that. I want to know a little about the corruption side of things here. So we're going to pull in a third deck to go another layer down, because I'm not going to leave you guys hanging like that. I mean, if I were you, I'd be a bit annoyed if I left me hanging like that. So what's this King of Spheres got to tell us here with that? What is this corruption? Is the corruption even what's present? Is it just the short-sighted aspect when it comes to the relationship with money? Yeah, this could be what's weighing on your mind, is how the receptive energy, what their relationship is to abundance, to money. We have some guidance, some clarification. Oh boy, okay. Let's see how many we got here. Oh, we got a bunch. Okay, they're telling us a story, guys. All right, so since the Ace of Swords is upright, so there's truth coming in. And this is definitely something that is, you know, attached to this forced change in thinking. Archangel Michael could have something to do that with this, because the Ace of Swords is seen as, you know, like the sword of truth, a higher perspective with the hawk. Then we have the High Priest inverted. The truth is coming in because there was not a balance between light and shadow. There was not a listening or a fully integrating into all levels of the being, the guidance that was being provided. And the soul contract was not going to be fulfilled. Karma inverted, 22. There was not going to be a fulfilling of the contract and the partnership if the divine did not intervene, if the sword of truth was not, if they didn't receive that illumination, they were not going to move forward with this. The Seven of Cups inverted. There's no more deliberating as to which direction, which option. There's one option. And that's moving forward towards this connection in a balanced and rapid, well thought out manner. Knowing that you've done the shadow work, you're working with source, that this is a major arcana. This is not a free will decision here. However, the minor arcana here, the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Cups, these are individual choices. So this individual was open to this truth. Possibly they were really needing it and didn't know why they didn't have it, and they needed it to be able to cross to this other shore of thinking. It's like not seeing, like if you can't see it, you make it's hard to believe it. If I don't see it, how can I know it to be true? That kind of thinking applies here. And the Seven of Cups is, you know, now that I know this, this is the only possible option that I could ever truly want and embrace fully. They own this direction. But the divine has come in with, you know, the High Priest, the Karma card, which is like justice, and the Chariot here. The divine is like, nope, you're fulfilling this contract. We're going to make it so it can happen. So in your thoughts, if this hasn't occurred yet, the divine is intervening in this way. Okay. So what do we need to know about the emotional aspect guidance here? Since that kind of hopped there on us, we have New Moon in Cancer. Relax. Okay. So the divine's intervening emotionally. Definitely following that is you can relax. However, your current emotional state before coming into this reading, being in this, why is this not happening, could definitely have been one where you desire to relax and nurture yourself, because Cancer, it's very maternal. It's very paternal. It's nurturing from a parent. It's caring for, soothing self. And New Moon is, you're very ready for this new beginning. And you want to relax. You need to relax and rest and restore and recoup your energy. So there could have definitely been frustration moving into this. But the divine is intervening, so there's that invitation to relax. The invitation to relax into it, to know that you can do that, even if it's not quite physically obvious that this change has occurred. You know, this is just seeming very... I'm definitely getting cross-watcher energy here. So there's definitely going to be some feminines watching this, getting a bit of insight into what's been frustrating you. Definitely. So since we do the inverted, I'm going to give it a chance to have some that were inverted go upright and vice versa. So what guidance are we highlighting here in particular for the next layer down for the emotional divine source spirit team for the Assertive collective, the masculine collective tuning in for insights here. Five of Wands in the upright, and I'll bring that up nice and close for you guys. And you could see the different levels of contrast between white and black here, and the image is it just looks exhausting and very painful. There's also a concept present in the image of different bodies basically molding and blending into the bodies next to them. So this is like a lack of boundaries in a group of influencing energies around you, or, you know, your predominantly feminine or receptive energy. Well, that one, I guess, is the one we're taking. Got it. It was very strong. Okay, so it landed like this. So it could be upright or inverted. So I'll read it both ways for you guys. And we have the Knight of Swords. This looks very, it's like a bull, a horse, a sword. When that horse or bull comes down, it may impale itself on that sword. So this is aggressive. There's a bit of smoke and shadow around it. There's illusion around this particular card, which it makes sense then why it would come out in this state of not being upright or inverted. Or not being upright or inverted. Wow. Okay, so we're going to look at the Five of Wands. Now, Five of Wands, it usually speaks to unnecessary distraction, conflict. This is personal will to overcome. This is a choice you could make. There's possibly a resistance to change. This is familiar. You know how to operate in this conflict. I definitely get a vibe of some kind of trauma or abuse or neglect or unfair circumstances where you're being taken advantage of, or they are, that they're just so used to, they don't know any other way. Or even if they are aware that there's another option, they don't know how to move within it, so they don't know how to exist within it. They don't understand what's expected of them. It's interesting. Okay, so meaning conflict, competition are necessary to keep moving forward. Okay. Upright, conflict or competition. Symbolism, figures battle one another as a test of strength and courage. So you're either observing them, feeling that this conflict is still necessary. You're just like, it's not. Can we please move on from this? I need to like recuperate and rest. Yeah, that's really what it is. Yeah. This also like this blending of the body into the forms near or around them. It could be like a concept of being taken from, victimized, vampiric, taking of life force kind of deal. I mean, you look at the ribs, they're wide open. That can't, no. That can't be comfortable. That can't be good. All right, now we're going to look at the Knight of Spheres in both the upright and inverted. So we're going to begin with the symbolism, which is a warrior rides his steed, which is rearing above a single sword, which will help him on his quest. This is talking to me about this Ace of Swords. So this is the truth. And his steed is like, whoa, which means he's kind of freaking out too. So the feminine energy in this perspective, or the receptive energy, could be reacting to this truth in a, wait, what? What do I do with this? You're possibly thinking that's where they are too, because you're not seeing necessarily this play out yet in an observable fashion. And you're like, what the hell? So you're waiting to know what is done here, how the action is. The meaning is use clear-headed and logical thinking to achieve your goals. Be decisive. That will be challenging if this is something that is still allowed to be occurring because it's believed to still be necessary. I understand why you're frustrated. I get a lot of frustration in this reading. There's a lot of frustration. Okay. Upright, clarity and decisiveness. Reversed, brash decision-making and fanaticism. So, thinking it through, not thinking it through, and acting quickly. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna go a layer deeper for all the placements here, you guys. Like, this is just, yeah, we need to do a layer deeper. All right. Oh, I did that again. Interesting. Okay. Okay, can we get some deeper clarifiers for the collective watching here? The assertive or masculine collective looking for insights here with this Five of Wands, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen with this Knight of Swords that's pretty much in this limbo because it's perceived they're still believing this conflict is necessary. Okay, so we have 15 breaks to a 6. This is a confirmation of a love relationship. 6 is the Lover's card. Shadow side. So this is what the truth is doing. It's literally scaring the crap out of them because they didn't see that boogeyman inside their mind and their emotions. They didn't know how much they were being deceived and manipulated and used. They had no idea. They weren't allowed to know this. There was a sense of being blocked by this boogeyman. And, well, really, Grim Reaper. It's a skeleton in a black cloak. And interesting. It's like the feminine form within them, the receptive aspect knows to hide, knows to not allow themselves to be seen, and the assertive aspect within them can't stand to see the light. Like, it blinds them. It's they've been in darkness, and they were just perfectly placed for when the light came on to be visually blinded. So they don't necessarily know exactly what's going on over here, but they know that they could possibly be in line of sight. So there's a vulnerability that comes into play here, which is why they're not acting, because they don't know what to do yet. They need to get their bearings about them. I don't know about you, but if I'm defending myself, it helps to be able to see where my opponent is. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, just a confirmation that they can't make that offer until they can see that. Yeah. Okay. And until that time, until they can see, this 10 of Pentacles will not move into the upright. Okay, so what do we need to know about this over here? This Knight that's kind of in this limbo. Oh boy. All right. It's a few there. We'll take that. Okay, so once they get their bearings, like once they acclimate to the brightness level, the illumination, the truth of the change of what's going on inside, because this is the divine intervening and kicking that. It's time. This has occurred. The divine's intervened. The divine is kicking this devil energy out. This deceptive, manipulative energy. This is basically like the devil card present within the mind. This is an outside force that was exerting its will over this individual. and the divine's intervening. Divine is creating justice here. They did call for justice, and they called for judgment, and justice is being delivered. Okay, so over here, once they acclimate to their new reality, their new truth, their new state of being without this in their mind and their emotions and their intuition, because they were basically in conflict with this until the divine intervened, because they were not allowed. They were in darkness. They were connected to the divine. They were aware. But they couldn't see the truth for what it was. They were too manipulated. So once that happens, there's going to be a movement towards calmer waters. And this Knight of Swords is going to go upright, because they've wanted the Six of Swords. And it's interesting that the Six of Swords is inverted in the thought, and it's coming out upright in the emotion, in this, basically telling a story. This is your higher self, divine, talking to you about the most likely outcome and what is happening or will happen. This, I get the feeling, is more current, and this is going to be more of the domino effect. Okay, and then we have the Moon and the Page of Swords. Okay, so with the Moon, it's like they mastered so much in this process. In this process of even getting to the point where they knew that they could call for judgment, that they would be heard, that they were finally heard. I have a feeling that this energy has been trying to get their message out for quite some time. They've been calling for judgment for some time. This could possibly be a misperception here, these two. This could be the deceptive energy, that they weren't balanced, that they weren't going to fulfill their contract. This could be that boogeyman making it be perceived that way. Definitely. Especially with how they're reacting here. Like, they don't want any other cup. They want this cup, and they want it now. They want it, like, ASAP. So they have learned and mastered the elements of their subconscious, of their shadow side. They've learned a lot about how this energy operated. There is somewhat of a synchronicity that the energy is similar to what came through in the previous reading around the concept of oh, that's just great. Okay, so now it had me, like, it brought it to my, like, they brought it to my mind, and then they had me lose it. So I guess you're meant to watch the previous reading. There's something in there for you, for sure, unless they bring it back to my attention. That's where they want me to leave it. But there's this mastering of the subconscious, of the intuition, of the awareness of self, that finally allowed them to be heard, justice to be investigated as to whether or not it was to be delivered. Obviously, it has been determined that it's going to be delivered. The divine has intervened. Now, they may be a little rough around the edges when they come in, but they're going to give you their truth. They're going to give you their truth. And they may be a little more predominant as well. They're going to be connected with their higher self when they come in, even if they're a little, you know, irritable and rawr, like, I'm just so over this. Because this may happen for them, like, within a day. But you may experience this as a process that takes weeks, months. It may be drug out for you over a long period of time. But for them, it's back to back and rapidly so. So if you're going through all of this in that short period of time, like these changes, the shift, this truth coming in and all these dominoes falling, you might be a little like, could I just be in this, like, a sensory deprivation chamber for a while, please? That's what I'm getting here with that. That's going to be their emotional state, their way of being, possibly. When you, at least intuitively connect with them initially, they're going to be a bit overwhelmed and overstimulated. Okay, so what do we need to know about the physical? What guidance do you guys have for the physical here? Last quarter moon in Sagittarius. So we start with the full moon in Sagittarius, and we end here in the physical with the last quarter moon in Sagittarius. Okay, so you're getting closer to your outcome. You're like rolling back time a bit here. So they see the bigger picture. Your bigger picture is confirming to actually be more on the same page as theirs now. That's what that's telling me. So now it's gratitude. And this is something that I would definitely recommend be practiced or have a little extra emphasis for both sides. Because if you practice gratitude, they're going to energetically be able to open to practicing more gratitude as well. They're going to mirror you. They're going to feel that shift in the connection, that shift in, like you say connection, it's like, we're so connected. No, it's if you give to yourself, you nurture yourself, you create space where you feel more secure at home, you have more peace, they're going to feel that energy from you. So if you're in more of a state of peace, they're going to be more likely to feel that peace and create space as well in their own way for their own peace. You guys will feed off of one another, and that you will amplify. It's probably a better way of putting it. You will amplify one another's states of being. Healthy boundaries are going to be key to getting to this place, which with them calling in all of this, like this justice and whatnot, they're calling justice or judgment on this stuff here. They were kept in this state against their will. They have been asking for this to change for some time. But they, the divine finally intervened. The divine came like, I understand what's going on here. I have enough evidence, I have enough awareness. Maybe they, they had to bring in some outside sources and an essence of like angels, guardians, guides, individuals, people that you would talk to if you did about this situation or they did about this dynamic, as a way of investigating really how out of balance it has been for you, or this energy, this feminine receptive energy. Okay. Whoa, okay. All right. So we have the Magician upright and the World inverted. Interesting. Okay. So in the physical, and this seems to be telling a story. Well, you're moving closer to the same big picture. Now you get to practice gratitude. I know the Magician's like right at the front. Okay. This is the beginning of a new cycle in the physical. This is the first challenge that the Fool encounters on the new journey. So this basically is the completion of a karmic cycle right here. And I'm just going to flip this like this, because that's pretty much what the divine intervention has allowed both sides of this dynamic to become aware of. Like, I definitely have a feeling there's a couple of masculines or assertive energies watching this right now that are like, holy crap, that makes a lot more sense now. And I don't blame you. Like, there's light bulb moments present within this reading for both cross watchers as well. Oh, symbolism, the hooded figure. The hooded figure uses his magical power to bring light into the darkness. The light is necessary for the figure to solve problems. Ace of Swords. You know, shadow side here. I mean, come on now. This has been manifested in the physical. This is also a major arcana. Both of these are. This is divine intervention yet again. The light is necessary for the figure to solve problems, fix what is broken, and make rational choices. The upright meaning is choices, problem solving, diverse knowledge, solutions, and cleverness. Okay. That definitely, this magician is like the deliverer of justice, the investigator, the collector of the information to then create the change. All right, now we're doing 21, which breaks to 3, so it's Trinity, and it's inverted. Okay, so its presentation confirms in and of itself that this is the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new. So the symbolism, a cosmic egg is struck open by bolts of energy and releases the gestating universe inside. So this is like a supernova, like a new star forming, a new universe. This represents an ending and a new beginning. So letting go of what once was, moving into what is. In the reverse, there's stagnation, failure, and final obstacle. All right. Now that is not the energy that I have been getting from this placement. So what exactly is being highlighted here? So I'll let you guys see that like real close here for a moment. You know, I'm really getting that this dark energy coming up, like it's not entering the egg as dark energy. The divine, in my opinion, like what I'm getting here is the divine intervened. This is becoming light energy. This egg is similar to like a white hole. Like it's got this dark around it, but the dark isn't coming into the center. It's only light. So a light hole will only work with, you know, like energy, its own energy. It won't accept any outside matter. So to me, this is saying that this devil energy has failed. That this success was divine intervention. It was manifested, justice was delivered, and the enemy failed. Okay. And there's all these energies around that are watching, observing, but the predominant energetic presence is that of a lighter energy. There's quite a bit of dark here, and it was very, very oppressive, but it's not being accepted into the egg. This could also be a symbol of a birth, a child. And they're not being allowed to, this dark energy is not being allowed to intervene, interfere, affect that new life, that new star. The star could be just the relationship itself, the love itself, the new beginning, the new journey that you guys are going on. But for some in the collective, it has to do with the child. And the child was the ultimate goal of this energy. It was to affect the child, because I got very much like the egg and sperm vibe. Like there's so many sperm that come towards a human egg. And even then there's like 3, 4, 5 maybe sperm that make it into the egg. So why does the egg choose this sperm over that sperm to create the life from? The divine always has a say. And this is the divine having a say. Whew. All right, doing acrobatics. So it landed like this, so I'll leave that face down for now. Wow, they are okay. Maybe it's how I'm doing it. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's happened. So you got the 10 of Cups there. And that's moving into an upright state. Practically upright. And I think that this is being affected by what you're learning and what's being illuminated here by the cross watchers as well. Okay, so let's see what this is here. Ah, that's cool. Okay, so we have the Fool and the upright. Yeah, so the Magician is coming in, and it's, yeah, this is allowing the beginning of the cycle to start the new cycle as the Fool and learn from the Magician. The first challenge here is to be able to bring in the Magician, to bring in justice. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool, you guys. This is actually like a very, like, there's so much frustration in these two placements. But it's like this has been a part of the divine plan the whole time. That is awesome. Thus the gratitude. It's like, you couldn't, like I had you the whole time, man. I had you the whole time. Getting all frustrated. You know, you gotta kind of, I have this vibe of the divine kind of like giving a bro a little hard time, like just teasing, giving you shit kind of a deal. Laughter, lighter energy here, definitely. Okay, so what do we need to know here about this? Because I know that having some confirmation here would definitely ease even more of that tension. Okay, so we have the Hermit in the upright. Your soul is wide awake and knows the way. Knows the way. It's just... wasn't necessarily easy, but if it was easy, it's like anything worth having, you have to work for. It's like because you have to work for it, you appreciate it more. That, and if you didn't really want it, you wouldn't work for it. So this higher self, the whole way through it, your connection to your future self, the answers that came through, the direction, the choices, even when you didn't understand why, you did listen. You did listen. I have the feeling that some of you were like, if this card, like you knew it might fall here. And if it fell out upright, you'd be like, oh, everything's fine. This was a bit of this manipulation being visited upon you as well. This energy was also affecting you. To some extent. It was also affecting you. So it's beautiful that this is actually coming out like it is. It's kind of like a ha ha ha. You thought you had this too, huh? Mr. Devil Energy, Mr. Skeleton in a robe. I have an image of like a practical jokester kind of a thing. Because anything like this, if you're able to find humor in it, you're able to take away its power. Because it wants your fear. Your fear will allow it to be stronger. So if you're able to kind of find a funny in it, it loses all energy to affect you. So I have like a cartoon image of the robe being taken off, and it's like got some kind of an embarrassing something on it. Like, I don't know, like I love mom, heart underwear or something. Okay, we have the 9 of Wands. Yeah, this is just backing up exactly how defensive and protective both your present self and your future self. You had the same goal in mind, which was protecting that future. Even if you felt like you weren't the greatest barrier and this fence wasn't, going to stand up to a whole lot, you still did it. You still did it. You still went through it. And you're possibly a little haggard and rough. And that's the test here. Because this could be happening very rapidly for them. But it could have been happening over a long period of time for you. So you're here and you're like, I just really need you to be sweet and kind and appreciative and like be grateful that I went through all of this over such a long period of time. And they're like, I'm overwhelmed. So that may be a bit of a challenge for you guys at this point, which may be a little bit of the divine kind of being like, all right, show me that you guys actually really did overcome this unnecessary conflict. Show me that you can overcome this unnecessary conflict now. Practice the gratitude that you're communicating at all, that you're connecting at all, that you're no longer dealing with this. Because being overwhelmed and being just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. This is over finally. Rawr. And this is, I just got overwhelmed. That is a choice to practice your kindest self in that moment. To dig deep for each other. And not even like dig deep, just you may be at a point where you're just so relieved to actually be communicating with each other that even though you're tired and you're just like, oh, I want this to be over. And this side is, I'm so overwhelmed. You're just stoked to actually be communicating with one another intuitively, if not more, in the emotional, the physical. So we're going to have one more placement here, and this is going to be the most likely outcome at this point. Or, really, yeah, the most likely outcome. I feel like this is the conclusion of this conflict, but what's next? What does my collective masculine or predominant assertive energy have to look forward here after this victory? Ooh. And this poignant because it's Gemini. You have the 2, 11 mirrored. You have both sides being receptive as their feminine forms to speaking your world into being, to co-creating the world you both desire to experience, to working that into reality together, and being willing to give to more than one project, to be surrounded by abundance. This also feels like lavender, and lavender is calming, yes, but lavender is antiviral, so it's healing. It's also an herb of protection. So you're surrounded by protective, healing energy. And purple, intuitive. You're tapped in. You're connected. First quarter, it's getting to enjoy the beginning, the honeymoon phase, right? Like all of the new discoveries, right? It's cool. It's cool. All right. So let's get some clarifiers here. Now, typically I would do a summary of this reading at the end, but I really feel that there's just so much wisdom in this. So much that's needed to kind of follow along. It's like divine's telling a story, really, that I'm not going to do that because this needs to have all those seeds present to be, unlocking awareness within your own intellect. All right, so we have Queen of Spheres upright and the Fool upright. Ooh. Now this is actually the title picture, the front of the box for this particular deck, which, I don't actually have the title of the deck or the name of the deck here. It's interesting. Okay, anyway, I like that they're both upright. The Queen of Spheres is a very good sign in the upright. There's a lot of abundance that's, that's coming in just because of that. Like, you guys don't need to be together to be happy, to have what you need abundance-wise. you don't need to be together. You don't feel trapped. Like, we share bills and I can't pay the bills without you, so I have to stay in this relationship with you, and now I feel trapped. Ugh. That is not present here, because the feminine, the receptive coming in, contributes in a fashion that actually eases the pressure on your own situation. You feel like you actually have a partner that will help carry the load and co-create with you, instead of you go, we're going this way, and they just kind of passively follow you and go, okay, all right, thank you for doing all the work. It's not going to be what's present here. And the Fool is, I have like a sense of, it's not this desperate reach. What it is look at how awesome this is. Look what I can do. Yeah, look what I can do. And then I'm going, yeah, I can see, look what you're doing. That's really cool. But I'm going to give you guys what's in the book here, because there are things that I just I'm not as familiar with this deck, and this deck surprises me pretty frequently, because it is pulling more into the darker aspects of things. And I don't necessarily see the dark aspect at first blush with I don't prefer to focus there. But it is necessary to create balance. And I recognize that. So here I am reading the guidebook for you guys. I've humbled myself to reading the guidebook. Okay, so meaning you need to act. Wait, what is this? It's cups. Okay, my bad. My bad. I went to the cups. Okay, so. You need to act. That's interesting. That's the first part that came out there. So there may still be some decisions, some actions that need to be made to fully be in this state, but this is the timeline, the decision, the choice, the path that not only has your feminine or your receptive energy chosen, but you have desired that as well. I get the vibe that you guys, like, you thought that, definitely here, like, you thought that you weren't creating the same thing. And this is, oh, we were creating the same thing? We both wanted this? Okay, cool. Okay, so meaning is get your life in order, review your finances, and make sure all important legal documents are in place. Assess your material life and fix anything that needs attention. The symbolism, and I'll bring that up here for you guys, because I want you to be able to understand the symbols. So if you see any synchronicities around you, you can be like, oh, well, that reminds me of that, and this is just an affirmation that that's spot on. This is a synchronicity. It allows your spirit team and the divine to speak with you in a more direct manner in your physical life. A woman with an intricate energy flowing through her head into the darkness above meditates on the sphere approaching her. The upright is stability and necessity. So this is approaching the feminine aspect. Stability and the necessity of that stability is respected, understood, and thus it's why it's coming towards that aspect. And the Fool, it's going to be way back here. The Fool represents a leap of faith, the beginning and ending of a major arcana journey that we take through life. We are the Fool. Therefore, the Fool archetype is about curiosity and open-mindedness, going with the flow of life and managing your own way, managing our way through the unknown. There's a reason they wanted me to read the archetype to you guys. So it's having fun with being curious, engaging your inner child in going with the flow instead of against the flow. Reminds me of something that I watched the other day. Bruce Lee was talking about how powerful water can be. Like with his 1-inch punch, how powerful that punch is, because all of the force comes from going with the flow instead of fighting the flow. Very receptive also to movement instead of being like earth, like a rock. Okay. The symbol is the figure is dancing and leaping through the air while a skeletal animal watches from below. The dancing energy represents the Fool's carefree nature and exuberance for life. Upright optimism, a journey without a destination, a new beginning, curiosity, and potential. Yet again, an affirmation of like really working with the inner child. This connection, you both are very intuitive, but in somewhat different ways. So you can see into one another's blind spot. You appreciate their perspective, and you can be your inner child with them. Okay. So I don't really know if we need clarifiers for this placement, but I'll just grab a couple really quick for you guys if you want to see if there's any more specific synchronicities for your specific situation, if you have any questions as well. You know, I'm actually getting that I'm supposed to use another deck, which tells me they want a card that's already fallen to come out. Interesting. This could be a bit of the higher self coming through as well from your feminine or your receptive energy aspect to this reading with the change of the deck. Okay, that was interesting. They kind of like flip-floppy there. So, okay, so we have the Star in the inverted, the Chariot in the inverted, Page of Swords upright, and the Queen of Wands inverted. Interesting. You know what this is actually inviting me to do is to read them in the opposite. This is like a little bit of a tease for you guys. This is a little bit of giving you shit kind of a thing. No, hold up. Let me give you guys what's going on, because I'm definitely smiling right now. The energy here is very playful. So the Star, she's just as connected in this image to Gaia, to the 3D, to the physical, to Mother Nature as she is to the universe, to Source. To her, it's all the same, all is one. So whether this is upright or inverted, it makes no difference to the feminine aspect, the receptive higher self in this placement here. It's because of that this Queen of Spheres is in the upright, because she owns that all is one. Yet she is aware that she as an individual is experiencing that. Wow, and you can like feel the difference in my voice too and hear it. Like it's very emotional. There's like a sense of awe and reverence. Now this Chariot in the inverted, being invited to go into the upright with this playful nature, is So I have this visual that's being presented to me of these two horses kind of like being playful and like nipping or like bumping against one another as they run and like prancing a little bit in the high step. Like they're psyched to be together. Absolutely stoked about it. Like finally kind of a deal. So there's a playful nature here with that. And if it's to kind of tease or flirt, because that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like flirting. That, does it really matter if I come in as this feminine receptive energy and let you know through flirting that I choose you consistently, thus pursue you? Or if you actually act towards me and then I can flirt and act towards you? Like, does it matter who starts this, really? Because we both know what we want. We both know where we're going. So if it is your role in the connection to be the assertive, that is your challenge. If there's no way in hell you would ever own that you desire this person because you had a really bad experience when you were young, or maybe there's something going on with you that you're just like, I couldn't ask them to be okay with this, so I don't want to make an offer knowing that more than likely they'd be like, well, why'd you even ask? You know, like, you may be surrounded by energy like that. You may have that negative self-talk. Something like they're like, you know what, you just, either they feel this way or they think you feel this way. Does it really matter? Because you both have baggage. You both have a life that you bring to the table with its positives and its negatives. Does it really matter who says, hey, I want this first? Because you're going to immediately get, I want this too, back. And your inner children are going to come out to play immediately. And this baggage that, you know, either probably both sides of this dynamic have been very like, why would anybody, you know, like you've been feeling kind of negative and maybe worried and concerned, and that'll all just evaporate. It'll evaporate because the energy between you two, it's like nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You are obviously meant to be together. You're meant to heal one another. You're meant to empower one another. You're meant to create together. You're meant to learn, manifest, overcome, grow, challenge. You're partners in learning. No one can teach you about you like someone like this. Like this person is the only one that can show you this side of yourself, because they are a mystery to you and you're both incredibly intuitive. So you already know what's going to happen pretty early on with anyone else, but you don't have that here. So you actually get to know yourself. And this is going to be that playful dynamic the moment either one of you acts towards the other. It's not going to matter who acted first, because you're going to be so lost in the enjoyment of it. It's trying to find the right words to express the intention. It's trying to find the exact implication, because what comes through is energy. If I could just telepathically connect and just express it, like channel it directly to you, I wouldn't have to try to find the right words to get the proper implication. So that's a bit of a challenge with this one, because it's like so much of what came through was like, oh yeah, well that's not quite what I meant, and it might kind of trigger that. So you need to reword that. Like, okay, all right, let's try this again. And then the Page of Swords in the upright on this Fool. The truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. And it's not going to be found in a book. It's not going to be something that someone else tells you. It's going to be based upon how you feel about, if I go this way, how does that make me feel? If I go that way, how does that make me feel? That is where you will find the truth. That is where you will find the truth. Whichever direction, path, choice that you've made in this situation, or you're going to be making in this connection, know that the truth is always going to be the path or the option that makes you feel loved, valued, respected. And yes, those things only come when you allow yourself to be vulnerable. The book, the birds, the ideas, the overthinking, they are all barriers, obstacles, distractions to keep you from being fully in the now, thus vulnerable enough to feel that truth. Basically, turn your mind off here and you'll be enjoying being in this playful fool-like state. You'll know the truth. If it makes you smile, you're good. That's what the truth is. If it makes you smile, you're good. And genuine smile, not like smirk. Genuine smile. I get the feeling that some of the masculines or the assertive energies here, they're very, they've had to become very stoic. And that doesn't necessarily equal playful all the time. So this is going to be a good freeing experience, being playful. Then we have the Queen of Wands in the inverted, which the playfulness here, right? The flipping, the reading of it. I get the vibe of, holy crap, look at what we did. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I'm actually holding like a ball of flame that I conjured with my mind. What? I'm elevating? I'm levitating? Holy crap. You know, it's like there's a playfulness here with look at what we can do yet again. Look at what we can do. This is the feminine figure, and this is definitely a more masculine figure. If you can kind of see that there. The image is definitely more masculine on the top of the pole there. So there's a mirroring, a confirmation of that. Look what I can do from, like, what is it? Saturday Night Live. Yeah. She's echoing it back to you. All right, so that's the reading for you guys. I really hope that you found some synchronicities here. I know that I kind of get the sense quite a few of you were like, oh. You definitely found some answers here. I definitely got that from quite a few, but not everything in the reading was necessarily for you, but answered some questions. And I'm very grateful to be the channel for this reading for you guys. Very humbled by that. So, the divine within me honors the divine within you. With gratitude, namaste.